Guys, it's me Nes, and I'm going to react to a video from Plana. I think Plana Productions, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Plana, but he was known for Plana Productions. You know, maybe a few months ago or years ago. But anywho, I'm going to react to 10 WWE wrestlers Triple H is wasting, or basically not use, or didn't give them the opportunity since they have a lot of potential. So it depends on how Triple H books, and again, booking a the best best job for any promoter or any type of uh, former wrestler now being the one to book the matches, because you need to know how to get this one person hopefully to be over with the crowd. Are you willing to find ways to make this person as a world champion, mid-card champion, tag team champion, etc. So this is one of those things that, yeah, Triple H, I wouldn't say that overall he did a good job. Like, there will be some times that he commits mistakes. There will be some times that his booking decision wasn't the best. When there are other people kind of feel like, what, you should at least not book someone to basically lose just to put in the position so that the other wrestler or a former or maybe a returnee will face that wrestler. What I would say is the Jey Uso situation, where he lose the championship so that to Gunter, so that Gunter would use his World Heavyweight Championship to face against Goldberg. Regardless, I don't think Goldberg's gonna win the match, but let's face it, like, I don't think that match needed the World Heavyweight Championship. Let's speak for real. But it's not that I complained. I feel like, there are other ways to make it in a match. And the most simple is that, let him confront without the championship involved. So, again, that's how it is. And if that's how to draw money, I guess. But we're going to watch and to see if there are other wrestlers. I don't think Jay is one of those ones that is wasting. But if it is, then yeah. By Plana, we'll see. So let's get into the video to see other 10 wrestlers, and we will, to me, I would give my thoughts, but I would not going to pause a lot. So let's get into this video.
Since taking over WWE, Triple H has done a good job at booking guys like Braun Breaker, Jey Uso, and Dominic Mysterio. But then there's been some other guys that he's not been properly utilizing. So in today's video, we're going to look at 10 wrestling careers that Triple H is currently wasting, starting with Austin Theory. Triple H has completely undone everything Vince McMahon has built with Austin Theory. Under Vince, Theory was holding the Money in the Bank briefcase and looked like a future world champion. He was getting real heat every week. It was loud boos, strong reactions, and the kind of response that most heels would kill for. But the moment Vince stepped away, Roman Reigns cut that infamous promo that his daddy was gone, and it all went downhill from there. Triple H made him fail his cash-in on the United States Championship of all things, and it was a brutal watch. Even his win over John Cena at WrestleMania felt empty. The match didn't help him at all, and Cena's promo leading up to it probably did more damage than good. Since that time, Theory has been stuck in a tag team with Grayson Waller, just floating around in the mid-card doing nothing really. It's a waste of a guy who has all the potential in the world if they would just pull the trigger again.
The only thing is, if Austin Theory can be good in a promo, I'm sure he could, but if he got the looks, right? He's young, he's not around his 30s yet, but the thing is that if he can do the promos, he could be where he is right now, in the position to be part of a good mid-card to win championships, or he could be part of a main event spot, even if he doesn't have to win as much, but being recognized that he is the future of the company. The thing is that for him, yeah, he won Money in the Bank, and then he cashed in, so he lose, but he basically get the United States champion, which is like, okay, how did that happen? And for some reason now, because when you look at the games and you know in WWE games, you can cash in on any championship, meaning well except the women's, but any championship. So even the mid cards. I don't know about the tag team though, but the thing is that it became the first ever for him to cash in on a mid card. While when you look at other people who either successfully cashed in or failed, it's basically a world champion that they get. Or even if they didn't win, still they cash in on a world championship than a mid card. So yeah, it's one of those things. Even people would say that Triple H doesn't know how to book for Money in the Bank. Well, again, yeah, I don't know, but that's how it is. Again, it's a waste of potential. I don't know about Austin. He's still young, but I hope that he can develop his promo and do not let him be like there were some teases of him no longer going to associate with Grayson. They're trying to make him as a babyface, I guess. I think he should be good in promos in order for people to get behind him. Trust me, he's the future, but it will take some time. We will see in the near future, maybe the next 5 to 10 years, if he still proves that you know what, he's the future. Maybe right now wasn't the best time for him, but he was there. It was really wrong time, wrong place, I guess. But I don't think it's kind of bit wasted just yet. If he still stays and did not get any opportunities from Triple H, yeah, it's kind of bit one of those things that yeah, he's one of the wasting wrestlers.
Again, Drew McIntyre's WWE career isn't horrible by any means, but it's definitely not where it should be. Under Vince, he was booked as a two-time WWE champion and carried the company through the pandemic era.
Yep.
But ever since then, it feels like he's been stuck in feuds that never lead anywhere meaningful, especially not to the World Championship. Even though we had the feud of the year in 2024 with CM Punk, I'd say that the year of 2025 hasn't been kind to him at all. Instead of being in a marquee world title match at WrestleMania 41, he was thrown into a random match with Damian Priest that didn't have too much buzz. That's a guy who should have been in one of the most high-profile matches on the card, maybe even the main event. But the WWE clearly dropped the ball by not building him up for the world title program, especially when they had plans for him to feud with Roman Reigns, only for that to be scrapped out of nowhere. Even though Drew still manages to deliver and make fans care, he's been floating in the mid-card for way too long, and it's a rough spot for someone who should be a permanent main eventer by now. The next name on this list is LA Knight, and man, this one stings. For the last few years, LA Knight has been one of the most over superstars in the entire company. He consistently gets some of the loudest reactions every single week, and yet it means absolutely nothing. Fans have been begging for him to win the Money in the Bank briefcase for 2 years straight, and both times Triple H passed on him like he wasn't hearing the chance. I just don't get it. You'd think that Triple H, of all people...
What's crazy, 2 times, right? And I know this video wasn't posted like, recent days, but he lost for the 3rd time. And this is one of the things. Why would you at least book someone to make him lose and give it to someone who already won it but doesn't need the briefcase? And people would say, oh, long-term booking. First of all, Seth doesn't need to have a briefcase. And the thing is now, LA Knight versus Seth and his crew, I guess if that could be a good storyline, but it's like one of those things that why can't you not give LA Knight the opportunity to be Mr. Money in the Bank? This is his 3rd time and he loses. So the thing is, if Triple H doesn't know how to book Money in the Bank, he did Naomi okay, which is fine. But for LA Knight, come on, man. Because I know that last year he gave it to Drew. Drew lost it at SummerSlam. I think, yeah, SummerSlam. And that's okay because, no one is going to successfully cash in against, at the time, Roman, if I'm not mistaken. And no one is successfully cash in by the time Gunther wins the World Heavyweight Champion. And then Cody. Sorry if I say Roman, but Yeah. No one is going to successfully cash in because those two are basically locked in to be champions. Knowing that Cody's gonna lose this championship at next year's WrestleMania, which is this year, and then to Gunther, he'll be dominant. But again, that's how it is. But it's really a shame that he had the potential. It's just that, it's okay for him to win US, but I think it's time for him to be in the main event spot. It's just that, of course, he ain't gonna win the King of the Ring. He was eliminated, but yeah, it happens, man. He had a lot of potential, but let's see if he can gain some success next year.
Would reward organic fan support. Sure, LA Knight did get a short run with the United States Championship, but it was forgettable, and both of his reigns did not feel special at all. Despite all of that, the guy is still somehow insanely over, which says a lot about his talent and his charisma. But if he does not win the briefcase this year, I might just crash out. Finn Balor re-signed with the WWE.
I hope he does crash out since he didn't win.
Last year, and honestly, it might have been the worst move of his career. Triple H just doesn't seem to care about him anymore. I saw a stat the other day that said in his last 22 televised matches, Finn Balor has only 3 wins, and that's 19 losses. 19! This is the guy who once had world title potential. He was the first ever undisputed Universal Champion, and now he's basically a glorified jobber. I get it that he's 45 years old, but he still moves like he's 30. There's absolutely no reason that he couldn't be a great mid-card or even world champion again if he was booked properly. Instead, he's stuck rotting in Judgment Day doing nothing meaningful. If it was me booking things, I would have him leave the group, bring back the Demon, and actually give him a run that matters. Because right now, Finn Balor's career is in the worst place it's ever been. Karrion Kross is another guy who's been completely wasted, not just by Vince McMahon, but also now by Triple H as well. When he first got called up, it looked like WWE was going to position him as the next big monster. Then Vince threw it all away in just seconds. They slapped a weird helmet on him, took away Scarlett, and killed all of his momentum. After getting released, Triple H brought him back, and fans thought maybe, just maybe this time it would be different. However, it's been 3 years since then, and Kross has barely done.
Let's not forget,
this time it would be different. However, we
could at least have this feud, Karrion Kross versus Roman, but it didn't happen. But regardless, well, for Finn, I guess he's okay in his position. I don't know when will be the right time for Triple H to book him again as world champ, but I think he's alright. The Demon needs to be like, he doesn't need to at least show a lot of it since it's considered, you know how Vince really buried the Demon against Roman. So I think at some point they don't need to, rebuild as much. It's only a special occasion. For Karrion Kross, on the other hand, yeah, Vince literally buried this guy, but still, he's not yet wasted. I think that we will see if he continues to, do something, but I hope that he could win something big, whether before 2025 ends or 2026, so that we could see if he deserves to be part of that caliber, because people are behind him at some point. So yeah, I do think that he has a chance, but we will see. If he got released, well, yeah, I guess it's one of ththose guys that Triple H really wasted. It's really a shame because he had potential. Promo wise, he can wrestle. Like, not everyone can get the spotlight when there are others who are way higher.
It's been 3 years since then, and Kross has barely done anything. He rarely wrestles on TV, and for a while it felt like they forgot he was even on the main roster. Lately, though, he's finally started to get over by himself, and fans are genuinely interested. But
he did the Drew McIntyre. Like, basically, the difference is that he's doing this documentary, I think, something for Drew Twitter. So, of course, it's like, he's gonna get over. But we will see. We will see how far, if he'll go. Because I could see him winning something big in the future. But we will see how far he can go and hopefully win something.
Even with all that momentum, the WWE left him off WrestleMania, and there's still no sign of a real push coming. Triple
Yeah.
H needs to stop sleeping on Karrion Kross before the window officially closes. Next up is Randy Orton, and I know what you're thinking. How is Randy Orton, of all people, possibly being wasted? But hear me out. Yes, he's a 14-time world champion, and yes, he's been in high-profile matches with Gunther and John Cena for the world championships. But when we're talking about one of the greatest of all time, I expect more. Randy hasn't held a world title since 2020. That is 5 years without the top prize for a guy who should be in that conversation every single year. And don't get me started on WrestleMania 41. His match ended up being a squash match with Joe Hendry. And I know the original plan was Kevin Owens before he got hurt, but there's no way that that was the best backup plan they could have come up with for him. Before that, they had him off TV for months like they had nothing for him. At this point, it really feels like Triple H has no idea what to do with Randy, but if it was up to me, Randy would be at the center of all WWE's top storylines. He would not just be floating in and out like some part-timer. Whatever happened to Ludwig Kaiser? I don't know, but it really felt...
Now, before that, Randy Orton, I think he's alright. Like, you know, if it's been a long time for him to be world champ, maybe you give it a few more years. Maybe we don't know when he'll be champ again, but I don't think he's gonna break the record. If he was planning to, or if Triple H decides he'll break the record, I guess we'll wait and see. But man, look with. I hope that he's okay, not injured. If it's injured, it's like that. But hopefully he's alright.
felt like this guy was on the verge of being a breakout star. He had the look, the charisma, and he could go in that ring. It seemed like Triple H was slowly building him up as a standout from Imperium, and the fans were ready for it. But then, out of nowhere, Imperium just fell apart. The tag team split was never explained, and the momentum completely vanished. There were rumors online that said Giovanni Vinci was trying to get with Ludwig's real-life girlfriend, Tiffany Stratton, which might explain that awkward breakup. Either way, ever since then, Ludwig kind of just disappeared. The guy went from potential future star to catering duty real quick. The only other time I've heard his name recently was when Charlotte Flair said that he was in her DMs. That's how you know things have gotten bad. It's been upsetting to see how Andrade's wrestling career has played out over the years. Back in NXT, he was a standout star. The guy was putting on bangers with names like Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano, and everyone thought that he was destined to be a future world champion on the main roster. But instead, the WWE let him go. Then he went to AEW, and once again, the expectations were sky high. People were sure he would be a top guy, and once again, nothing. That's when you fast forward to his WWE return with Triple H booking things, and the fans had hope again. This time, surely he would get the push that he deserved, and he did for a few weeks, maybe a couple months, but that was kind of it. Now, he's kind of gone, and Triple H forgot about him. It's honestly sad to see such a talented wrestler wasted like this one. I think Solo Sikoa is another name who has been completely wasted, and let me explain why. After WrestleMania 40, it looked like WWE was getting ready to make him one of the biggest stars in the company. He took over the bloodline, he kicked out Jimmy Uso, he brought in Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and everything pointed to him being a permanent main event player. But just a year later, Solo wasn't even on the WrestleMania 41 card. That's crazy when you think about how important he was to WWE TV throughout 2024. It's wild how fast WWE cooled off on Solo. For someone who had the keys to the bloodline, you would think that they'd actually treat him like a priority, but instead, it feels like he peaked too early, and Triple H has got to fix this before it's too late. And last but not least, Carmelo Hayes is struggling to...
Solo, I think it's alright for him. He had moments that, he didn't even win, I guess, the world championship. But the thing is about Solo, not putting him in the card at WrestleMania was pretty bad. But the thing is, I think he's okay with it. They're trying to make him like this type of person, has this personality, because he was known for being stoic. But, I kind of get that now he's feuding with Jacob. It's kind of a bit like, okay, they're trying to build a character around him, but hopefully that Triple H will not gonna mess up another one who has, I wouldn't say potential, but something that, who carried 2024, and then you're not gonna put him in one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time.
to find any real success on the main roster. He's been here for about a year now, and outside of that short feud with Andrade, there's really nothing memorable about his run. It's honestly surprising considering how big of a star he felt like in NXT. Meanwhile, his former rival Braun Breaker has been killing it on Raw. He's got a major storyline with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, and is clearly one of Triple H's top priorities. On the other hand, Carmelo has been stuck in a never-ending storyline with The Miz, and while that's fine, I guess for now, it's not exactly career-defining. It's starting to feel like Hunter doesn't see Carmelo on that same level anymore that he was in NXT. If things don't change soon, he might end up being just another NXT star who couldn't make it on Raw.
The thing is about Carmelo, I think that he has potential. But the thing is, if people would say he should be booked better. I think the one thing that for me, I'm not sure if I'm good in terms of the booking situation, but it's like when you got Braun Breaker and then was, part of Seth's group, right, with Bronson Reed. I think that Carmelo should be part of that group. But the thing is, you understand that, it's basically like evolution. Because when you got Braun and then Bronson Reed, it's like, okay, it wouldn't make sense why Bronson joins Seth, right? But if I'm the one who makes the decision, I would at least put Carmelo there, because you basically had two young guys who's going to become the next, stars of the future. Just like, when Batista and Orton became the next stars under Triple H and Ric Flair. So imagine Paul Heyman and Seth teaching Braun and Carmelo. But again, it's one of those things that, they got so many talents, it's hard to, give it opportunities. I'm sure that, Carmelo is too young. Like, if they have no plans for him in the future, you could at least put him back to NXT, let him shine once again, and then when you're ready for him to be back in the main roster, hopefully you can give him the opportunity, because he's a hell of a talent. It's such a waste, but we'll see. And so that's the video, guys, and all I can say is that Plana did a good job making this content, but all I can say is that I'm sure that for Triple H, it's not like he's wasting a lot of wrestlers. I think it depends on the crowd, and then how he will give them the opportunity to at least be representing, hoping that people are gonna cheer and support them. Some may grow organically, but it depends on how Triple H is gonna book them, but we'll see. And all I can say is that's the video. All I can say, guys, is that you can subscribe to Plana or Plana Productions with the video. And also, all I can say, guys, is that thank you for watching, and we will see each other in the next video. Peace.